When I first saw Buddy, I didn't know whether to cry or panic. He was brought into our clinic weighing over 130 pounds. He couldn't walk. He couldn't even sit upright. He just lay there, round as a potato, breathing heavy and looking so tired, like he'd given up on life long before he ever walked through our doors. No one had even realized that his size was a problem. No one had noticed that the pressure from his own weight had broken his leg. And honestly, none of us were sure what to do with him. But there was something in his eyes. Something that told me he hadn't completely let go. Something that told me he just needed someone, anyone, to believe in him again. And in that moment, I made a decision that changed both of our lives. I told everyone, I'm taking him home. Getting him into my car wasn't easy. It took a tarp, a few strong arms, and a lot of patience. He didn't resist. He just laid there, quiet, like he didn't expect kindness. When we finally got him settled, I remember looking back at him in the rearview mirror. He was staring out the window, not really focusing on anything, and I thought, this dog has no idea what's coming. Because what was coming was love, and structure, and healing. When we got home, I started him on a prescription diet right away. He was used to eating so much, more than his body could handle, so I had to start slow. I gave him just over a cup of food a day, and every few weeks I cut it back just a little. He'd nudge me for more food, giving me those big sad eyes that could melt steel. But I stayed firm. I know you want more, I'd say, but we're doing this together. At the clinic, we all kept a close eye on his progress. Every weigh-in was a celebration. Every single pound lost was another step forward. We would gather around the scale and cheer like he'd won a marathon. And in a way, he had. But like with any journey, there were setbacks. Days when he didn't want to move. Days when progress slowed. But not once, not a single time did Buddy stop trying. And then it happened. One morning, out of nowhere, he stood up. All by himself. No one was helping him. No one was holding him up. He just stood. And then he walked. I can't even describe that moment without getting emotional. I screamed. I laughed. I cried. And Buddy? He wagged his tail like he knew this was his victory too. His smile that day was the biggest I'd ever seen. He wasn't just walking. He was living again. After that, everything changed. His energy came back. His personality bloomed. He started breaking out of his kennel at night, just so he could greet me in the morning at the door. Every time I opened it, there he was, sitting like he'd been waiting hours. And I'd say, Buddy, how did you get out again? And he'd just look at me like, I missed you. Even his doctor was amazed. Because the leg that had broken under the weight, it healed in a way that actually gave him structural support. There wasn't another option. No surgery would have helped. But somehow, nature gave him exactly what he needed to keep going. It was like his body found its own way to keep fighting. We live out on a bit of land, and we have a few farm cats that wander around. They don't really interact much with Buddy, but they do something that warms my heart. They nap near him, just close enough to keep him company. They curl up in the trees right by his side, like they know he's gentle, like they know he's one of the good ones. As he moved more, he began to transform. You could literally see the change. His coat got shinier, his eyes got brighter, and he leaned into people again. Not out of fear or need, but because he wanted to be near us. He'd nuzzle against me while I drank coffee in the morning, sit at my feet while I cooked dinner, and sigh deeply when I'd curl up next to him on the couch. It was like he was finally allowing himself to enjoy life. In just under a year, Buddy lost 50 pounds. 50. And it's not just about the weight. It's about the freedom, the lightness in his step, the joy in his bark, the way he runs, actually runs across the yard now, tail wagging, ears flapping, completely full of life. You'd never believe he's the same dog who came into the clinic unable to stand. I look at him now, and all I feel is gratitude. Gratitude that I said yes. Gratitude that he didn't give up, and gratitude that I get to be part of this chapter of his life. The one where he's loved, cared for, and truly alive. There are so many animals out there like Buddy, overlooked, written off, burdened by pain that isn't their fault. But they don't need perfection. They don't need miracles. They just need someone to give them a chance, to fight for them, to love them back to life. If Buddy's story touched you, please consider helping another dog like him. Support your local rescue or shelter. Donate, if you can. Volunteer your time. Share their stories. Because behind every dog that's been forgotten is a Buddy waiting to shine. He loves his life now. And I love giving it to him. This is what rescue is all about. Not just saving lives, but giving them back their joy. And watching them every single day choose to keep going. Buddy chose to live. And I chose to walk beside him. And I hope if you ever get the chance to rescue a soul like his, you'll say yes too.